What we call the laws of the universe are actually captured in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, when it says, "To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose." I'm reading the King James Version. "Under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die." That means that for the things that are of the earth, they have a time of being started and a time of ending, a time of being conceived and a time of being extinguished. So in number 2, there's a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck, which is planted. This means that it is expected for a seed to grow when it is planted, and it expected for the person who has planted to harvest of it. And this goes for the actions of men upon the earth, that wherever people shall do, they do harvest of the same, they get the fruits of the same. So there's a time to kill and a time to heal, and this can be seen in the laws of the Old Testament, where there were specific instances where God said, "It shall be an eye for an eye," and there was a time that they said that you can give a sacrifice for healing, or you can give a sacrifice for peace, or sacrifice for this and that. That is the difference between a time to kill and a time to heal. There's a time to break down and a time to build up. So even that which is broken and the breaker will have a season where a time to be broken themselves and a time to be healed for the person who was broken will come. There's a time to weep and a time to laugh. Here are in the seasons again, the spirit of joy does come, and the spirit of anger, which is a negative spirit, does come sometimes, and even of mourning. So also it depends on the spiritual atmosphere prevailing at a certain time, so that you can weep this time, but for sure there will come a time when God will give a sword to those who weep, so that they can also bring their laughter if need be. There's a time to mourn and a time to dance for everybody. So for the person who is mourning right now, they'll dance tomorrow, and the person who dances right now, they'll mourn tomorrow. There's a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. Okay, this even refers to reconciliation. There are times that you reconcile, and there are times that you don't. There are times that you destroy, and there are times that you do not destroy, you build. So this is also in relationship to people, that some relationship are worth building and some are worth scattering. There's a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, which still in verse number 5 also correlates to a time of casting away stones and a time of gathering. There's a time to get and a time to lose. So even he who loses can turn around the time to a time for getting, and he who has taken from him can lose too. There's a time to rent and a time to sow. This in reference to tearing and bringing together also. There are things that need to be torn apart, and there are things that need to be brought together. There's a time for silence and there's a time to speak. The time for silence is the time when you're waiting for counsel to speak, and the time for speaking is when the Lord fills your mouth and your strength for you to speak. And when your strength is given, do not keep quiet and let your time pass by. So speak when it's time to speak, and be silent when it's time to be silent. There's a time to love and there's a time to hate. Don't love everybody. Don't hate everybody. Love according to the time and hate according to the time. And those who hate, those who do the negative, remember that the world is a field that you're sowing, and a time for harvesting is coming, and for sure you will harvest. So that is the essence of the laws of the universe, interpreted in the language of the Bible. Have a good day.